Let's start by taking a deep breath and letting it go. And obviously, if you're driving or doing something that will make it dangerous, don't close your eyes. But maybe that's too late now since we've already done it. I debated what to read today. I read several articles in the Science of Mind magazine, and I finally decided I would just read the daily guides for today. But I did look at others. I looked at Murphy's Wisdom. I looked at a couple of other main articles. I looked at Spirituality and the Brain. And yeah, I finally decided it's Sunday. Let's have a shorter version and then I'll do something different during the week. So here we go. The quote I chose for today is from Crosby, Stills and Nash. It's kind of intended to be sung, but my singing ability is not up there. If you smile at me, I'll understand, because that is something everybody elsewhere does in the same language. Crosby, Stills and Nash. So smile and it will be returned, in other words. And today's reading is called See with the Light of Love. See with the Light of Love. And my system just keeps insisting on zooming everything and then vanishing and who knows what. But anyway, here we are. Just bear with me. I still have not solved this deal where it just keeps zooming out. And I've changed all the settings and it just keeps doing it, you know. It's weird. It is definitely weird. First quote, of course, is from Audre Lorde, who says, let's get back here. She says, the quality of light by which we scrutinize our lives has a direct bearing upon the product which we live. The quality of light by which we scrutinize our lives has a direct bearing upon the product which we live. What does that mean? Well, hold on. And Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind, of course, speaks about the part of the universe is within you, and he encourages us to feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. And then he says that since the universe is run by an infinite mind, our life is controlled by our thinking. And then he says, ignorance of this keeps us in bondage and knowledge will free us. Thought plus feeling has lots of power. Thought plus feeling has lots of power. And we are channels of a divine energy. And then this is Rev Christie who says, by what quality of light do you scrutinize your life? She says, what a wonderful question. Am I seeing clearly, or is it as through a glass darkly? What are the ideas that cloud my vision? And then she goes back to the quote from Crosby, Stills and Nash. I remember the lyrics to a wonderful old song by Johnny Nash from Crosby, Stills and Nash. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that have me blind. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yeah, the ones that were old enough will clearly remember that. Each day, she says, we got the opportunity to see clearly, to see our oneness with spirit, know our union with divine mind. And then she says, as we see clearly, using the light that is love, we give ourselves grace. Grace to be and to unfold according to our unique process. I'd say our own unique process. What if we are doing it perfectly? What if we could see what God sees? We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Look at how amazingly good you are. Excuse me, doing just that. But I think the affirmation she gives us kind of summarizes the whole thing. I see myself by the light of love and I live in harmony. You know, when we think about love, we think about, or at least I do, lots of different things. Love for my spouse, love for our pets, Yeah, a love for even for technology, a love for my neighbors, my relatives, my friends, people at our spiritual center, international friends, and all the other organizations to which we belong and around the world. But it all begins with you and me. As we said before, if we don't truly love ourselves, then we really cannot love other people. We can kind of feign it, but we can't be it and we can't feel it. So it's really important to begin to do these daily spiritual practices. And I've been reading up on a whole bunch of them, and some of them you wouldn't think of them as spiritual, but they really are. But it involves lots of simple things. One person who was in my class, we talked about spiritual practice, and mine are pretty simple, really. I try first thing in the morning to get up to go into one of our guest rooms and just sit there and concentrate on my breath for a period of time. And then after that, to just be in the nothingness. And then having done that, that is when I do my prayer work for everyone and everything that I promise to pray for or that I think I would like to pray for, including myself. So it's really pretty simple. And I get the opportunity every day to read spiritual stuff. And I get to read this every day. And as I said today before I did the reading, I read quite a few things in Science of Mind magazine to see if any were okay. Some were too long. They were good, but they were way too long. Maybe I'll summarize those. The one I said I love is Murphy's Dogma because it's seeing things from a non-human perspective, well, attempting to see things from a non-human perspective. And it's kind of cute, but it also, what it does is it takes the ego out of everything. So I will read it during the week. And I think I might summarize the spirituality in the brain part. It's in pretty well every month. And actually, the two people who taught it, who write it, were involved in teaching part of the program I was in when I went through ministerial training. So I know them a little bit, So yeah, it's kind of interesting. So anyway, I see myself with a light of love and I live in harmony, which is good. If you did not get the opportunity, or maybe you've never tuned into our Sunday service, it's always on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. Today it was not Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings. It was Danielle Johnson, and I got her name mixed up when I announced it this morning. I said Danielle Mercadal, which was her old name. It's Danielle Johnson, and I immediately apologized. But she gave a wonderful, uplifting talk, and she ended with a couple of stories. And the good thing about stories is stories sell, right? Stories sell. So I'm not going to tell you what was there. Go look it up. And eventually, maybe I will just come and summarize it. But anyway, look it up and check in with my colleague, Reverend Lisa Ryan, tomorrow morning at 9:15. All of that's on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. It's also on Creative Life Center's YouTube channel, but the daily service usually is not published on there until later in the day or the next day, but on Facebook it's live. So there it is. Hey, that's my offering for today. My prayer for today is just have a wonderful rest of the day. If you live in this area, enjoy this weather because we're going to get another 1 or 2 days of cooler weather tomorrow and the day after, but then it will warm up again. So, hey, get outside there and enjoy it. It's really nice out there. So until next time, namaste.